The second type of logical force we'll cover is referred to as quantification. The definition of quantification is the proportion of a group that has a given property. But again, in layman's terms, that just means how many. How many things have a certain quality? Do they all have it? Do most have it? Or do just some of them have it? That's quantification. A place where you might encounter quantification, maybe a few months from now, you take the LSAT, totally crush it, of course, and then apply to some law schools. So you get into a few, and then the fun part starts. You get to visit the law schools and see which one you want to go to. And when you're visiting a law school, you obviously have to take the campus tour, in which a very earnest law student will take you and other accepted students around the campus. This law student will be very impressive. She'll know all kinds of facts about the building, she'll have funny little jokes about the professors, and she'll be able to walk backwards and point without running into anyone or tripping and falling. She may even be able to answer some of your questions. And a question that you should be asking is, how many graduates of this institution get JD required jobs upon graduation? So if that question inspires a little panic in her eyes, or you see a bead of sweat forming upon her brow, or her hand is tugging her collar as she confesses, well, I guess some of our graduates get JD required jobs, that's not exactly inspiring. And that's because her answer uses weak quantification. Just like modality, there are 3 categories of quantification that we care about. And her confession puts us into the category of weak quantification. Her statement just means that at least one person at some point graduated this school with a JD required job. That is all that some means on the LSAT, at least one. There are also a lot of other ways to say some on the LSAT. Your tour guide could have said, a few of our graduates have gotten good jobs upon graduation. Or she could have said, several of our graduates have gotten good jobs. Now, there is something of a catch about this category. If your tour guide had said, many of our graduates have gotten good jobs, or even a significant number of our graduates have gotten good jobs when they graduated, that would still put us into this category of weak quantification. Now, I obviously can't see you right now, but I assume that your mouth is just agape. You're probably flabbergasted, thinking, wait, what? Doesn't many mean like a lot? How can it mean just some? And of course, you are technically correct. Many and a significant number do mean more than some, but for most purposes on the LSAT, it helps to just think of these words as expressing something really weak. Really, many and a significant number are kind of BS words. They're words that you use for something that you're trying to make seem more impressive than it actually is. When your friends are debating a topic that you maybe only have a passing familiarity with, but you want to sound smart anyway, of course, you could say, well, I've read many articles on this topic, and here's my take. That doesn't mean that you've read most of the articles on that topic. You've read, at most, maybe a couple, or like you've skimmed a few. The LSAT is going to try to BS us all the time with these words, and we shouldn't fall for that. If the statement doesn't, by definition, mean more than half, then we're just going to consider it equivalent to some. So, the words that commonly indicate weak quantification are some, a few, several, many, and a significant amount. Now, getting back to that tour. What if instead that chipper tour guide said, well, most of our graduates get JD required jobs when they graduate? That is a little more promising. It means that over half of all of the graduates have gotten good jobs, which is not bad. Maybe you'll keep looking around to see what the other schools have to offer, but this school is at least a strong maybe for now. And that's because this statement expresses moderate quantification. Moderate quantification just means more than half. She could have also said a majority of our graduates get JD required jobs when they graduate, or that over half of the graduates get these JD required jobs. Both of those phrases would put us into this same category. But remember, if she had said many of our graduates get JD required jobs, that doesn't necessarily mean over 50% of the grads. So the words that express moderate quantification are most, majority, and over half. Finally, what if the tour guide said with pride and gusto, "Funny you should ask, because all of our graduates get JD required jobs when they graduate." Well, now you should definitely consider going to that school. That means that 100% of the people who attend that school get a good job when they graduate, and not even Yale and Harvard can boast something like that. You gotta go there, and that's because this statement expresses strong quantification, meaning 100%. These are super strong, actionable claims. Strong quantification means that this thing is true of 100% of the things. And as the youth say these days, these strong statements keep it hundo P. The words that assert strong quantification are all, any, each, and every.